Hey guys, John here from CONTRABIM, and I'm on the road today, but I thought I would do a quick video on the ARCHICAD-Bluebeam Connection. I was getting some questions on how we can actually set up our publishers and export PDFs so that we can open them, mark them up in Bluebeam, and then bring them back into our working ARCHICAD file. Now, this can be a really useful workflow if you are exchanging documents with your different consultants or with your contractor so that they can mark them up. And it's a great way that we can set this workflow up so that we can export out and then easily import those comments back in and create issues within our markups, I should say, within our markup manager. So we're going to walk through the workflow here, and by the time we get to the end of this video, you'll know all about how to set this up on your own. So let's go ahead and jump into it and talk just a little bit about the setup here. So if you go to File, Interoperability, you'll find the Bluebeam connection here. And we can go ahead and just open this up, and you'll see it's a very simple menu. There's import markups, there's save a PDF, which is essentially a way to save out a single view or a single sheet at once. This can be either be a drawing, or sorry, a view from your view map, or it can be a layout. Are really the two different ways that we can set those up. But we can also go in and set up a publisher here and publish from any publisher set that we have, which is really useful. We'll talk about that in a few minutes though. Just a quick note here, there's also more information that you can find. This will open up and you can read all about the Bluebeam connection here. I think on some of the older versions you may have had to actually add in or have a plugin for this, but if you're on the latest, then it comes in as just part of the platform. So okay, let's walk through the workflow now of just exporting out a single layout is what I want to do. And we'll just kind of go through, export it out, and then we'll bring it back in after creating a markup. So what we'll do is let's just start here. I'm just going to pull up a floor plan layout. We'll let this just generate and re-update. Okay, and so we will just be using the Save as PDF option here. Now, in this case, I have a folder set up just for drawing exhibits, and so we're going to be using this folder. And I'm just going to open File after Save, and I'm just going to rename this A203 Floor Plan for Comment, is what I'm going to call it. And under our document options, obviously we want to go through, because we're just saving this out as a PDF, we want to go through and just make sure that we have this all set up correctly. So we can go in and check this. I always like exporting layers. You can include the information, you can allow annotations. And so this all looks great. Let's hit OK, and we will simply just save this out as a PDF. Okay, and we can see that it's opening up automatically. We can go in here, and now we can simply just go through and create a markup. So for example here, let's do this. Let's first calibrate our measurement tools. So I'm just going to find a dimension, snap to it here. Let's see, we're already in scale, 8'1", so that's good. Let's just say, like, for example, we want to move this door opening like 1 foot to the side. So I'm just going to create a short dimension here. And let's just say we want to make it 1 foot larger. So I'm just going to draw a box. And then let's give this a cloud with a little text. And so let's say we'll just enlarge door 1 foot. Okay, so there we go. We have a little markup issue. We've added essentially a dimension, a box, and then an enlarged door sign. So let's go ahead and hit save. And now that we've created this and just kind of it's saved onto this, it doesn't have any embedded layer. So we can actually go in, pull this up, see our markups here at the bottom, and we can see that there is no embedded layer. We could of course go in and assign it to a layer, either one that was either embedded within our PDF that we had sent, or we could go in and create a new layer. But we also have the option to create an assigned layer for these when we bring them back in. So we'll do that in this case. So let's go ahead and we'll go back here to our layout. We can go to import markups, and we'll simply just select that drawing. We can check out our options here. So this is really important to check because this is where we can set up a bunch of different notes here. And so the first is what type of markup style. So this can be a revision. And then we have the option for either creating a new markup thread, or if it identifies it as an existing markup, then I think it gives you an option for creating a response. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we only have the one option here for start a new markup thread. We have options for the attribute conversions as well. So we can either use the project fill types or we can import. I always like using the default attributes that we have in our project. So we'll use the project fill types, the project line types. We could always override with the specific type of line, but let's just use the project line types. And we can override the font or use available fonts. And we can either choose to bring in a single layer from the project, or sorry, assign it to a single layer from a project. In this case, we are assigning it to a layer called notes for the from the architect, or it could be notes from the construction manager. We have some different options here. The most important thing though is that that layer is visible on this particular view. So we'll just do the construction manager, or maybe the general contractor in this case, or we could even set this up for the client. So maybe that's a client change because they want to have a larger door there. So we'll set that up as a single layer from project. And with that, let's go ahead, hit OK. Let's open. And then you'll get this next dialog box here, which tells us that, okay, we do have this drawing. It has a total of 3 markups, and it's not allowing us to filter any of these because we've not imported this before. And so we can go ahead and just simply import. So bringing it in, we can see that the markups were imported successfully. We could open the report if we wanted to see this, and it's just telling us that it's brought them in. And now when we zoom in to our drawing view here, we will be able to see that we've now created some markups. So you'll notice here that these are actually kind of exploded, and there's a lot of little parts and pieces here. We can go in and adjust these if we wanted to. But now we've imported just a single markup. And if we open our markup tools, you can see that we've now actually identified this. You can see that it's tagging my name because Bluebeam recognizes that I was the author of those changes here. We can turn these on and off. And yeah, so we've now created a new markup. So of course we'd go into the model, make the adjustments, and then assign these to a different status, whether it's been closed. You can see the color change, whether we want to create it that it's problematic, or we can just set this however we want, or if we are done with it, then we can simply, oh, there's an option here somewhere to archive it. So, okay, with that, that's a simplified workflow here where we're just simply exporting out and importing back in. So pretty straightforward, and yeah, it's pretty, with this, it's very easy to get these to show back up. But let's go through and do a little bit different of a workflow now. So, so we did a layout. So we have this placed onto a layout currently. Let's do a different type of view. So let's take a 3D view here and try to do the same exact thing with this. So, so let's go ahead. We'll save this as a PDF. I'm going to override this D30 HVAC drawing. We can check our settings here real quick. This all looks good. Fit to page. What's our page options? So this is an architectural D, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and hit save, and we'll open this drawing. We'll replace it. Okay, so there we go. This time, let's just simply come in here and just make a markup to, let's just say, change diffuser to 4" by 10". We will hit save. And okay, now let's go back and try to import. So import markups, we're grabbing our latest drawing there. We will open this. We can see that we have one markup. Let's go ahead and import. And there we go. We have imported it. So one thing I want to point out is when we are actually on this particular type of view here, because we're not actually on a layout, we are on a specific view in our view map, a 3D document in this case, it is really important to pay attention to our model view options. If we have this set, and I'm not sure if I have any settings here. Okay, so like for right there, I changed this to RCP, and you can see that our markups disappeared there. The reason for that is there's actually a model view option setting here that we would want to show markup entries. So because when we import these markups back in, it's technically classified as a markup entry. And so therefore, if you want that to show up, you need your model view options to have that turned on. And so once you do, it'll show back up. We can see that, yes, it's been added in. We have our one cloud. We can turn this on and off. We can go in, we can capture a view if we wanted to. You can see that there. And so yeah, we can create issues that way. So, so that's pretty straightforward. We can import drawings, or sorry, we can export drawings, PDFs through this manner. Or we also have another option here, which is actually a really useful way of replacing things. So I've actually gone ahead already and I've gone in and published out my entire PDF design set. And I've done it through this particular workflow here. So, so you can see here all these different drawings. Let's just go in. We can say go into like an elevation. I haven't found that you can produce individual drawings this way. It is going to be publishing the entire set. So I'm not going to do it right now because I've already just done that. But I do want to open up this set, and we'll actually take this a little bit further here and close down these. We'll save that, close that down. Here I have a project dashboard, and within Bluebeam, one thing that we can do is we can actually set up these different design sets here, where we are essentially taking our PDFs and pulling them all through, and then we can go through and essentially just be linking all of our drawings together here. So it's kind of like a way of just combining PDFs into a single set so that we can view them here on the side. We can categorize them and we can see different disciplines here essentially. So on this particular drawing here, say we want to go in and say we want to use the pen tool here in Bluebeam, and say we don't like this area here. So I'm going to just create a little bit of a sloppy cloud. It's this area right here, and I don't like this. I want this door to be closed. So while I'm on the pen tool, I just want this to be, you know, door close. Okay, so there we have it. We've marked this up. We've added a little bit of a just like a manual highlight there with our highlighter. We've gone through, we kind of clouded it, we gave it an X. And so let's go ahead now and we can save this. And we're saving this individual drawing that's loaded within our Bluebeam set here. And so let's go back to ARCHICAD now. We will navigate to that specific plan. So we'll go to our elevations color, and then we are simply just going to import that markup. So very simple here. Let's we'll let those update. We're going to import markups. We are going to navigate now to where I have our design set and our elevations color. So let's go ahead. We can check our options here real quick. So maybe this is coming from, in this case, you know, the architect reviewing these. So that's fine. We'll start a new thread. We will open this up and let's import these in. So we have 7 markups this time. So we can see there's quite a bit more going on in this particular case. Okay, so there we go. We've imported. We can see that they've now been set up here. They've been brought in. We can see here, let's turn off our suspend groups, and you can kind of see how it's grouping it together. I'm not sure exactly how it knows to group these. Obviously, some of these it did not group together, but it tries to do, I think, the best job that it can in trying to understand your intentions in terms of how you're writing with a pen. So you can get, seems like, you know, a single word to come through, but sometimes it may leave off a few little markers there, polylines in this case, with the pen tool. You'll also notice that the highlighter turned to a single polyline there. And it actually did not, it seemed to recognize that it wanted to bring through that as a green pen versus our red pens here. But it obviously isn't showing up here green because that's probably part of our settings here. So we have our elevation settings here. Can we pull this down? I'm not sure if we can. Certainly be nice to expand this. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we can see our highlight and we can see all of these here. And so yeah, we of course can go in and reassign these. We can change our coloration there. And so yeah, that's how we can import drawings through instead of using our Bluebeam connection to save out individual sheets, this would be actually publishing out our entire sheet. So that's getting one step further. I don't think there's really any downside to publishing your PDF sets through this method here instead of using our traditional publisher here. So like right now I have my PDF sets. I also have my construction sets. So as an example here, say like I wanted to go into, well, we'll pull up the construction set and we'll go through that workflow here in just a second. But yeah, instead of publishing by selecting this and publishing out this way, we simply just publish our PDF sets through this manner over here. Works just the same, and I don't think there's really any downside whatsoever. So there is an upside though, because we can simply then just import right back in. Okay, so let's do one more workflow here. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I'm just going to pull up my construction set that I have set up. I'm not going to save because we didn't really make any changes. And okay, so now we have this pulled up. Let's go to, we'll go to like some of our services here. We can go into, we'll kind of go through that same workflow. Say we want to, what do we want to do? In this case, let's go in, let's make a markup here and just say, let's center diffuser in room. And we want to essentially take this and we are trying to shift this over a little bit. We can take our bubble and move it out just slightly. So if we wanted to center that up a little bit, doesn't really matter in this case, we're just creating a note. So now let's go ahead and hit save. And with that, we will go try to import this back in onto that particular drawing here. So we're going to navigate to our construction set under our HVAC. We're going to pull up that drawing. Got a few things here that we need to update, so we'll let this generate real quickly. Okay, there we go. We've now updated. Still wants to check a few of our reports here. Lots of reports. Okay, there we go. And so now with that, let's go and try to import that drawing. Now remember, this is a drawing set that I have not exported through our Bluebeam connection. So in this case, we're going to our construction set here. We're finding our HVAC drawing. We can go in and check out our settings. So all of this looks okay. In this case, maybe it's our mechanical making the notes. And let's go ahead, hit open, and okay, so we have this markup import failed. And the reason for that is because we had published this out through our publisher and not through this option over here. So let's try that one more time. And I'm just going to probably speed this publisher up just a little bit. I'm going to just, we'll have to redo that drawing there, but let's go ahead and we will just close the set for the moment. We will not save. And now we will go and publish our entire set here. So by publishing PDFs, we'll navigate to our construction set and we are going to publish this entire set. So we'll go ahead and let this run. Okay, so there we go. We've exported out all 20 of these drawings. Let's go ahead, jump over to Bluebeam, And once again, we'll pull up our construction set, and we can navigate to that same drawing. I just want to kind of work off the same ones just to kind of point out that this workflow should now be working. And so with that, let's go in here. We can actually see here, I'm noticing that we already have a markup on this particular sheet. You can see that it's embedded here, so that was actually something coming from ARCHICAD there. So let's go and let's just simply circle this again, and we will make the same note. So let's move diffuser to center of room. Okay. We can click over here and just trace that and drag it over just a little bit. So it looks close enough. Let's now just hit save on this drawing. We'll go back to our layout, and then we'll try this one more time here. And because now we've published them out using the Bluebeam Connection publisher, it should work for us. So let's go ahead, import markups. There's our HVAC from our construction set here. We can check our options. So once again, it always remembers the last settings that we had, so we're fine with this. Let's go ahead and open, and there we go. We can see we have 2 markups, and we've now, if it shows up right here, we've brought them in, which it does. So, okay, perfect. There we go. We now have this brought in. Let's say, as an example, we just want to make a little bit more of an adjustment. Say maybe we changed our minds and we wanted to just move the diffuser down instead. So let's hit save on this again. And when we go back to import, we'll try this one more time. We'll open this up. And so now we can see that we have the option to either skip modified markups or not. So in this case, because we've made the changes, we don't want to skip. So let's go ahead and import. Okay. And so we can actually see that it left the old ones, which is kind of interesting. I guess that makes sense because of the fact that we have we brought them in and then we are bringing in new ones. So so with that, let's go ahead and let's go into our markup tools. We should be able to just simply pick out which ones have specific text. So in this case, I believe our text should actually be listed somewhere down here. I thought it did anyway. Text and tag. Now, let's see. So we can delete them all. Simply bring them all back in. So that didn't work exactly as I was thinking it might, but nonetheless, we can go ahead. We've already saved this, so let's just import one more time. So you can really see that this could become a little bit of an issue here if we had a bunch of markups and we didn't skip the ones that were already imported here. So let's go ahead and we'll just skip the duplicated, so we're not importing any. Oh, let's try this one more time. So we should have deleted these out. That was our problem here. So you can see that we're starting to add a lot of them in here. So this one is no longer there. That one is there. It's really that one and that one. So the rest of these, we should keep this nice and clean and delete those out. So, okay, so now we have these turned on, our rectangle and our cloud. Okay, so what I wanted to demonstrate with that is, say we wanted to actually add in like just, an X here. I just wanted to show the filtering view or the filtering option. So let's try that once again. So now we can skip duplicate markups. We can see we're bringing in 2. So now we're importing and we should just get those lines coming through. So there's our 2 lines. Okay, so with that, hopefully this demonstrates how you can set up this workflow. I think the lessons learned from this is when publishing out to Bluebeam, really, I don't think there's any downside of using the published PDF set here in the connection. All it enables you to do is then be able to import markups later on. So I don't, yeah, once again, I don't think there's really any downside. I don't think it takes any longer. It's still going through doing the same process. I think it just adds a little bit of metadata so that it knows that you can import the markups through this connection, versus if you went through the traditional publisher, then it would not recognize it when you go to import through this connection. So, okay, with that, if you have any questions on this workflow, then please leave it in the comment section. Hopefully this helps you out and enables you to exchange information with your different consultants a little bit easier. This works, I believe, on other markup tools like maybe Adobe and some of the other markups, markup editors in not just Bluebeam, but I know the connection is definitely was built with Bluebeam in mind. So you'll just have to test if you're using other PDF editors outside of the Bluebeam software. So with that, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. If you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe, and we will catch you on another CONTRABIM video very soon. Thanks for watching.